First of all, welcome to you all, and especially welcome to the Ambassador of Latvia. Excellency, it's such a pleasure and an honor to have you here, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule in order to be with us, especially with such a big delegation. It shows a lot of interest in our business community, and I hope it also will be fruitful for you. Good. Today we have quite an interesting program. We're going to be talking to you about the Baltics. A lot of people probably heard about the Baltics. Not a lot of people, to be quite honest, from this country have already been there. Yet it is one of, from various aspects, one of the more interesting parts of Europe, possibly. Therefore, we have a program where we will be talking about various legal aspects. We have Mr. Ferry Whalen from Holla Advocaten taking that part. We also have part of your I wouldn't say your company, but of your European law firm network. We have Mr. Klotiens, who will be talking about probably Latvian law, or Lithuanian law, I guess. Latvian. I'll get it straight at some point. And then we have Mr. Bas Koymans, who actually is an entrepreneur established in Lithuania. Now I got it right? Okay, good. I will be talking a little bit about Estonia as well. And hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Good, please have a seat. Then finally, or in between, we also will serve you some nice drinks and snacks in order to keep you busy with that as well. Next to the fact that we will be giving you a lot of information, and we will be sharing a lot of information with you, there also is a network opportunity. Here on the tables we have various entrepreneurs out of different industries. We have a lot of high tech here in our presence today, so that is interesting. But also out of other industries we have manufacturers available. So please do make yourself known to each and everybody so that you also benefit from that part from this meeting. So, yeah, the Baltics. To be quite honest, I've been to the Baltics already I was there already for quite some time ago. The first time I went to the Baltics was still in the 90s. And I still remember that when I had to go there, it actually was a Finnish client of mine that suggested that I should go to Estonia. And I'm almost ashamed to say that at the moment that I had to go there, I was talking to friends and family like, oh my God, I need to go to Estonia. It was for me the first time that I had to go to one of the former Soviet Union countries, and I still had this idea about these gray building blocks where people were supposed to be living in poor conditions or whatever. And for some reason, I was a little bit reluctant to really embracing it. What a difference it was! I took the catamaran from Helsinki, which is quite a convenient way of going into Estonia, flying to Helsinki and then take a catamaran ferry from Helsinki to Tallinn in Estonia. It takes about 1 hour and 30 minutes. And at one point then you see Tallinn showing up. And Tallinn turned out to be a magnificent city. Beautiful. It's like walking back in time. From a touristic point of view, there is a lot to be said for it. And one of the other things is the Finnish company had invested and worked together with a couple of very young entrepreneurs in Estonia. And I've never seen people with so much energy and so much drive as I've seen that day. It was amazing to see. Completely different from what the idea was that many people had here in the Netherlands at that time. It was very refreshing. As of that moment, I also decided I never was going to say anymore that I didn't want to go to a country until I had actually been there. So I've been cured from that point. I came to Estonia. I met the Estonian counterparts. And one of the things that I noticed is that there was an atmosphere in Estonia that was very similar to what my dad once described me about the atmosphere in Rotterdam after the Second World War. A lot of energy, a lot of getting things done, a mentality that would be that you would see together with a lot of enthusiasm and actually a lot of partying as well. It was very fun. It was a very fun dynamic. That was the first thing I noticed when I was in Tallinn myself, but then their office was in Tartu. And Tartu is also in Estonia. It's the second city of Estonia. Estonia has got about 1.3 million inhabitants. And about close to 500,000 are living in Tallinn, and there are about 100,000 people living in the second city of Estonia, which is Tartu. But at that time it was about a 3-hour drive away. And one of the things that I noticed when we were going on that drive from Tallinn to Tartu, and remind you, this is the late 90s, that actually I started noticing that my cell phone actually had better reception in Estonia than it had ever had in the Netherlands or in Belgium or in Germany. Actually, their cell phone network, their mobile telephone network, was much better developed than it was in the Netherlands. Probably the Netherlands didn't hit that level until 2004, 2005. That I actually had the feeling it's more or less the same as what I witnessed at that time in Estonia. So they were well advanced at that time. They really were investing in this modern technology. Even though that they were investing in that modern technology, and I will get back to that a little bit later, at that time they were also still very much doing the things that they were used to do. The Baltics, and please correct me if, Ms. Ruse, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Baltics, as far as I know, was designated by the Soviet Union as that part of the Soviet Union where all the furniture for the Soviet Union had to be made. So you had a lot of furniture manufacturing in that part of the world, especially in Estonia. At least that's the way it was explained to me. And you had a lot of furniture manufacturers. That was also the reason why I was there. So they were doing a lot of that. But what you already saw was that you had these furniture manufacturing, furniture companies, these manufacturers, that used to be manufacturing in the old way, but you also had the young companies that actually already were investing in a lot of high-tech, state-of-the-art equipment that actually many of the Dutch companies at the time could be proud of, would have been proud of to have. And that situation actually continued to develop. Later I also visited, for example, Lithuania, and also there I witnessed I had a similar feeling. I had a similar experience. And what you see in Estonia, what you saw in Estonia is that you see that especially the investment and the dedication to technology and innovation has soared. And it went bigger and bigger. And at the moment, Estonia, as strange as it may seem, maybe actually one of the other brain ports in Europe, so to say. We have a brain port here in Eindhoven, obviously, but in Estonia there is a lot of ICT knowledge to be shared. There are factories out there that actually sell electronics to China rather than the other way around. They are state-of-the-art. They also, again, have a lot of robotics, a lot of capital investment into their manufacturing systems, and as a result, they are very competitive in their manufacturing and in their offerings. Here you see, for example, I believe that was a wooden factory, but here you see other factories that clearly show that actually this is a modern economy. You also can see that because of the growth in the GDP. The GDP actually per capita has grown considerably. At the moment it is, I believe, roughly around 19,000 US dollars per capita. And it came from somewhere in the 90s when it was still about 6,000 per capita. Now actually they would be considered to be 150% of the median per capita GDP in the world. I believe the World Bank actually considers Estonia to be a developed country. And not only Estonia for that matter, also the other Baltic countries. Here you see still see some of the wood manufacturing, the old seating, but also you have the new ICT technology. And one of the really interesting things is that Estonia, for example, is one of the countries where for the first time you have a card, a digital ID. And that is what they have. They don't only have a digital ID, and you saw an image of that probably behind me. That is a card that you can do almost everything with in Estonia. And in addition to that, they also have something very interesting for foreigners, and for certain foreigners. That is, they have what they call e-residency. And that actually is a system that helps them in order to attract investment and businesses in a very easy way from abroad. As far as that is concerned, the technology side of Estonia might be one of the most interesting sides of the country at the moment. Their economy is still 21% electronics and electronic manufacturing and electronic equipment that they actually manufacture. As far as also exports, 21%. 10% all still has to do with wood. But as far as the ICT and the ICT services, this might be a country to watch out for. So this is my bit a little bit about Estonia. And I can tell you that as of that first time when I with a lot of headaches went to Estonia. To be quite honest, I also returned from Estonia with a lot of headaches, but for a very different reason, actually. You saw probably one of the images of one of the restaurants in Tartu out there. I still remember that I was invited for one of the most wonderful dinners I ever had in this big arsenal, former arsenal, where they had the restaurant. There you have it. Beautiful way it was. From that moment, I've been returning to Estonia quite a bit. I've returned to the Baltics, and each and every time I've been there, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've always been impressed with the way that the population of the Baltics have actually picked up their lives after the Soviet period. So congratulations not only to Estonia, but I'd say to all the Baltic states with the way that they have developed ever since.